Spaceships of red, blue, and green. You can hear the alien ladies scream. We want Truxton! Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Phalanx on the Super Nintendo, a fun spaceship shooter with the least spaceship shooter-ish cartridge artwork that I've ever seen. What does an old guy playing a banjo with his dog have to do with spaceships? I think it's so weird I actually like it. What they don't tell you is that his dog is named Truxton. Roll over. Fetch. Good boy, Truxton. Phalanx, released in 1992, is a game that shows that the creator of the cartridge artwork should have gone to the Atari School of Design. You're supposed to make the game's artwork look better than the game, not the other way around. The only thing that could possibly improve this design is if someone went in there with whiteout and retitled it, which of course they did. Thanks, Ben. Chemco. Sounds like a company that should make auto parts, doesn't it? Brake pads by Chemco. Chemco! Phalanx. Beyond the artwork, this game is pretty good and was released when these games were the hot games. Can you imagine that? Like, instead of every game being some kind of a Skyrim, Minecraft, or Call of Duty clone, games wanted to be Thunder Force. That sounds like the greatest thing ever. And this game so desperately wants to be Thunder Force. And I'm okay with that. Yeah! Because even though I'm Sega Genesis fanboy Mark, I appreciate the Super Nintendo's slightly different style in this game. Rocks it on the SNES. The music is great, the visuals are great, the gameplay is really good. It may not be the best spaceship shooter out there, but it's definitely one of the best on the Super Nintendo. Hunter! It should say Hunter, but it doesn't, because that's a different game! Phalanx is one of the best games in this genre on the Super Nintendo, not because the Super Nintendo is bad at playing them, but because there really weren't very many of them released for the 16-bit SNES. Games like Thunder Spirits, Super R-Type, and Earth Defense Force come to mind, as well as Phalanx. One to add to your collection while shouting EDF at the top of your lungs. You are not worthy to be destroyed by me. It should be your honor to be killed by Mark. Seriously though, these games are a dime a dozen on the Genesis, where you have what seems like hundreds of them available. Now we're shooting robot fish. Doesn't Darius have the trademark on all underwater sea creatures that shoot lasers at your spaceship? You've got to admire this thing's determination. Like, it's going to die, it's just a matter of when. I like Phalanx, but despite the fact it's one of the few on the SNES, it's hard to say what really makes this game stand out, beyond the weird-ass artwork. It's a very persistent enemy with its arms blown off and just got like a little mouth going. Really, how effective is that? Stage clear. Very 90s. Should be extreme stage clear. Saved by the Bell edition. This game also reminds me of Whip Rush on the Sega Genesis. Basically, this game just wants to be on the Sega Genesis. But it's not, it's on the Super Nintendo. Which is an acceptable alternative. Sometimes. Feel the bias from Sega Genesis fanboy Mark wearing the Atari hat in front of a Sega sign while playing Super Nintendo in front of the Atari 7800, next to a Laserdisc player. That's how I roll in space. And this game rolls with a water level. Yes, it has one of those too. If you're gonna make one of these games, you've got to have the dangerous cave level, the subterranean cavern where you could crash into the walls at any time, and I like these enemies, which I believe are brain eels in floating tanker trucks. Credit where credit's due, Phalanx has its moments. Suddenly we have gotten to the part of the game inspired by aliens. Every one of these games has that level. You know that level. As you've probably noticed, there's numerous weapon types, 4 in total, I think, each of which can be powered up. You can also pick up some extra missiles and those floating things that rotate around your spaceship. You can destroy them for a super bomb. My favorite weapon in the game is the lasers. The hunter weapon from Thunder Force seems to get targeted on the wrong things at times, and then you get killed, so... Screw you, Death Snake! Be careful with that one. Why don't you go back to Thunder Force, where you belong? Frequently, I looked at this game and immediately saw Thunder Force or R-Type or Gradius inspiration. Other times, it's like Phalanx is totally doing its own thing here. I don't know what this is, a floating rock with some intestines? Why not? And on that note, I've got a classic Game Room shout out and thank you going to my man Ben from Buffalo, New York. Thank you, Ben, for sending Phalanx to the show, along with some sweet custom artwork. At times, Phalanx is somewhat forgiving because you can take 3 hits before you're destroyed. Other times, it just pins you into a corner and kills you instantly. It's somewhat unbalanced, but on the whole, it's a good spaceship shooter on the Super Nintendo. Totally worth owning. So thanks again, Ben, and thanks to the old dude playing the banjo. You really livened things up. It's Phalanx. This review has been brought to you by Lord Carnage and the best of Classic Game Room. Alright, if you're gonna buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameroom.com. Welcome to the club. It's the Lord Carnage Club, where I thank these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano from within the zone of danger. Jeff Breyer. Jeff Breyer. Derek Langley. Derek Langley. Michael and Ariana Nelson. Michael and Ariana Nelson. Michael Fernandez. Those not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Stephen Chucknick. Stephen Chucknick. Al Stiver. Al Stiver. Rick DeBarros. Rick DeBarros. Jason Goy. Jason Goy. Sergio Matthias Hergert. Chip Sink Bale. Chip Sink Bale. Busy Signal. Still busy. Sean Zoltek. Sean Zoltek. Philip Strabenmuller. Phil does the dance of safety in the zone of danger. Jack Stavris. Jack Stavris. Ohad Kane.